Welcome back to Cowboys Insiders, the home of the most passionate Dallas Cowboy fans anywhere on the world. No matter you are watching from today, we truly appreciate you for being here with us as we break down all the latest news, rumors, a roster update, trade biz, NFL draft analysis, and everything happening around the American team, which is a Dallas Cowboys. So if you love the Cowboys and if you live and breathe football, NFL, and if you want a really non-stop coverage of the biggest stories surrounding this franchise, then you are absolutely in the right place here. The pressure is building in the Dallas. Expectations are sky high, and the entire NFL world is watching closely to see whether the Cowboys can finally make a serious Super Bowl run this season. From a major roster moves to breakout player turning heads at camp, from big-time performances by stars like a Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, to all the drama surrounding the front office and coaching staff, we have got every single update covered for you right here on Cowboys Insiders. So before we dive into today's Dallas Cowboy update or news, make sure that you hit on subscribe button and also you turn on the notification and join the fast growing Cowboys community on this platform. And to every loyal subscriber already supporting the channel, thank you for riding with us every single day. Your support means everything and help us to continue bringing you the latest breaking news and coverage of non-stop on different operations on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Cowboys Nation, are you feeling confident about this team heading into a new season? And also, I can ask you if do you believe Dallas finally has what it takes to complete a Lombardi Trophy? Drop throw in the comment section because today update are massive and there is a lot of talk about the let's get straight into. The buzz around the Dallas Cowboy continues to grow as the franchise punches deeper into a massive off-season transformation that could completely reshape the identity of an American team heading into 2026 NFL season. After another year filled with a playoff expectations, a roster questions, a salary cap conversations, and a heavy scrutiny from fans and analysts across the league, the Cowboys front office is attacking this offseason with a far more aggressive mindset than many expected. From NFL draft strategy to free agencies depth moves, from a locker room leadership questions to offensive scheme adjustment, everything happening inside the star line now suggests this organization understands the pressure to finally return to a Super Bowl contention. One of the biggest talking points surrounding the Dallas remain a quarterback, Dak Prescott, and expectations pressed on him entering another critical season. Prescott continues to face enormous pressure because the Cowboys have invested heavily in him as the face of franchise, but fans are demanding a postseason result instead of a regular season dominance. Inside a league cycle, many executives still believe Dak is one of the most efficient quarterbacks when protected by a stable offensive line and supported by a balanced run game. However, critics continue pointing towards a turnover in a key moment, a red zone inconsistencies, and struggles against elite playoff defenses as the major concerns that the Dallas must overcome if they want to make a deep January run. The Cowboys coaching staff reportedly spent much of the offseason studying ways to evolve the offensive scheme into a more explosive and unpredictable attack. Expect more pre-snap motions, heavier use of the play action concepts, quicker tempo packages, and expanded vertical route tree designed to maximize mismatches against opposing secondaries. Dallas understands the modern NFL is built around offensive flexibility, and sources around the league believes the Cowboys want to create an offense capable of attacking a defenses at every level of the field instead of relying too heavily on isolation routes and conservation sequencing. A huge reason for optimism remain a superstar wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who has evolved a yards after catch explosiveness and the ability to line up both outside and in the slot make him almost impossible to game plan against for 4 quarters. Coaches inside the organization reportedly want to move him around even more this season to create leverage advantages and force defenses into unfavorable coverage looks. League scouts believe Lamb is entering the absolute prime of his career, and there is growing feeling that the Dallas may build the entire offensive identity around his versatility moving forward. Meanwhile, the Cowboys running back room continues to be one of the most heavily debated units on the roster. So the Dallas has clearly been searching for a more explosiveness and consistency after struggling to establish a dominance on the ground in critical games that season. NFL insiders believe the organization wants more physical or downhill rushing identity combined with outside zone speed concept that can strengthen defenses horizontally. So the front office also appear committed to improving a short yardage efficiency. So something that became the frustrating weakness during a key moment last year. Analysts expect a Dallas to continue evaluating veteran market options while simultaneously developing a younger back who fits the new offensive philosophy. The offensive line remains another central storyline because protecting a Dak Prescott has become one of the franchise's top priorities. So injuries and inconsistencies affected the unit of different points last season, but the Cowboys still believe they possess foundational pieces capable of restoring a dominance in trenches. Dallas scout and the coaches have emphasized versatility, athleticism, and cross protection intelligence while evaluating alignment through thought of season. The organization reportedly wants to build the unit into a faster and more adaptable group capable of handling modern defensive pressure packages, especially against an elite NFL pass rusher. Defensively, the Cowboys continue building around superstar edge rusher Micah Parsons, who remains one of the most feared defenders in football. The Parsons has completely transformed the identity of the Cowboys defense with his elite burst, crossing a speed pass rusher versatility and relentless motor. Opposing offensive coordinator now build entire protection plans around limiting his impact, yet he still consistently creates pressure and game-changing plays. Around the league, many believe Parsons is not only the cornerstone on the Cowboys defense but also one of the few defenders capable of completing taking over a playoff game by himself. There is also growing excitement surrounding a Dallas defensive depth and hybrid personnel packages. Coaches reportedly want to create a more disguised look before the snap, giving a quarterback fewer opportunities to identify the coverages and blitzes early. The Cowboys' defense has become increasingly positionless in a certain situation, with a linebacker and safety expected to rotate responsibilities depending on matchups. That flexibility could become one of the biggest strengths of the roster if a younger defender continues developing at the pace the organization expects. So another major focus this offseason has been improving a land defense, especially after a several physical dominance. Opponents exposed weakness in the front seven during a critical stretches of the previous season. Dallas Cowboys understand that playoff football often becomes a battle of the physical in the trenches, and there is reportedly strong emphasis on adding a tough interior defenders capable of controlling gaps and collapsing lashing lanes. Coaches want a more disciplined unit that can maintain aggressions without sacrificing assignment integrity. The Cowboys front office, led by the owner Jerry Jones, continues to face enormous pressure from fans demanding a return to championship relevance. So Jones has repeatedly emphasized that the organization remains fully committed to winning now. And insiders around the NFL believe Dallas could continue making aggressive roster moves if opportunities arise during training camp or the regular season. The franchise understands that the patience among the fan base is wearing thin after years of the playoff disappointment, despite a strong regular season record. One of the most interesting aspects of the Cowboys offseason is how much attention the franchise has placed on leadership and locker room culture. Coaches reportedly want a stronger accountability across the roster, especially in high-pressure moments late in the games. So the veterans have been challenged to create a more disciplined and mentally resilient environment capable of handling adversity when expectations rise. So the Dallas has talent that has never been the issue. The really question is whether this roster can finally translate a potential into a postseason execution. The NFC landscape is also becoming increasingly competitive, which means a Dallas cannot afford the regulation. Teams across the conference continue improving through the draft and free agencies, and coaching changes are putting even more urgency of the Cowboys to maximize their championship window immediately. The analyst believes that the Cowboys roster still possesses enough innate talent to compete with any team in football, but consistent health and late season execution will ultimately determine whether this group become legitimate Super Bowl contender or another talented team that falls short under pressure. As a training camp approaches, also the expectation around the Dallas Cowboys remain enormous. Every practice lap, every depth chart battle, and every contract negotiation and every preseason performances will be analyzed intensely, because this franchise lives under a spotlight unlike almost any other organization in sport. Fans are desperate to to see team capable of dominating physically, executing efficiently, and finally breaking through the postseason barrier that have haunted the organization for years. The foundation of this channel and everything we do is to build with your mind. As the Cowboys continue the journey, chasing a greatness, facing a challenge, and striving to return to the top of the NFL, we will be here every step of the way, every update, every breakdown, and every reaction. You will find it right here, delivered with a passion and purpose. The Dallas Cowboys are once again at the center of attention as they navigate the most crucial moments in the modern era, and everything about their approach to NFL draft, it reflects a franchise that is no longer satisfied with simply being competitive. This is a team driven by urgency, shaped by a past disappointment, and fueled by a deep desire to return to the top of National Football League. For years, the Cowboys have carried the weight of expectations only because of their history, but because of the immense spotlight that follows them everywhere. So now more than ever, that spotlight is focused on how they build their roster through a draft and how those decisions will define their immediate future. At the center of this entire operation stands Jerry Jones, a figure whose influence on a franchise cannot be overstated. Jerry Jones has built his reputation on bold move, aggressive decisions, and the unwavering belief that the Cowboys should always be contenders. Unlike many organizations that embrace a long-term rebuild, Dallas operates with a win-now mentality, and that philosophy is clearly reflected in how they approach the draft. Every pick is not just about potential, it is about an immediate impact. It is about finding the players who can step into a high-pressure environment and delivers results from a moment they arrive. The foundations of the current Cowboys roster is strong, and it begins with a quarterback, Dak Prescott, where Dak Prescott has been the leader of the team for years, and while his performances have often been impressive and the narrative surrounding him to become increasingly tied to postseason success. The rectangular season consistency is no longer enough. The expectations now is clear. Take the team deeper into a playoff and compete for a championship. Supporting Prescott is one of the league's most dynamic wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb, whose ability to create separations, make explosive plays, and dominate defenses has made him a cornerstone of the offense. Together, they form a partnership that has the potential to be one of the most dangerous in the NFL. But even that is not sufficient, but the right supporting cost. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons has emerged as a generational talent. And Micah Parsons is not just a linebacker, he is a complete defensive weapon capable of flashing the passer, dropping into the coverage, and disrupting a plays in ways that few players in the league can replicate. His presence alone changes how opposing offenses prepare for the Cowboys. However, the team has recognized that Relying too heavily on one player, no matter how talented, is not sustainable strategy. The draft therefore becomes an opportunity to build a defensive unit that complements a person's. One of the most pressing concerns for the Dallas heading into this draft is the offensive line. Once considered the gold standard of the NFL, the Cowboys' offensive line has experienced a gradual decline due to the injuries, aging of players, and a lost turnover. Protecting a Dak Prescott has become an absolute priority, not just to maintain offensive efficiency but to ensure the long-term health and effectiveness of the quarterback position. The front office is acutely aware that without the strong and reliable offensive line, even the most talented offense can struggle. As a result, the Cowboys are expected to invest heavily in a lineman who combine a physical strength, technical skills, and the mental awareness needed to adapt a speed of professional game. Beyond the trenches, the Cowboys are also focused on adding a depth and versatility to the defensive unity. The modern NFL demands defenses that can adapt to a wide range of offensive schemes, from a high-powered passing attacks to a balanced run-heavy system. So Dallas is targeting a player who brings a speed, flexibility, and intelligence to the field. Defenders who can cover in multiple positions, react quickly to the changing situations, and contribute in various roles. This approach reflects a broader shift in the team philosophy, one that emphasizes adaptability and strategic depth over a rigid position load. Offensively, the need for additional weapons is another key focus. While CeeDee Lamb has established himself as a true number one receiver, the Cowboys understand that elite offenses require a multiple threat. Defenses have become increasingly sophisticated and relying on a single dominant receiver who can make an offense predictable. By adding another wide receiver with a speed, a tight end who can both block and crouch, the running back who excel in at passing game, Dallas can create a more dynamic and unpredictable attack. This not only helps Prescott but also forces opposing defenses to spread their attention, opening up opportunities across the field. And what makes this year's draft particularly interesting is the way of the Cowboys are blending traditional scouting with a modern analytics. The organization has embraced a data-driven decisions making, analyzing players' performance metrics, injury histories, and scheme fit in a greater detail than ever before. This evolution demonstrates willingness to adapt to the changing landscape of the National Football League, where a success often depends on finding the right balance between intuition and information. It is a sign that the Cowboys are not just relying on their legacy but are actively working to stay ahead of the curve. The pressure surrounding the franchise cannot be ignored. The Cowboys are one of the most recognizable teams in a sport, and with that recognition comes constantly scrutiny. Every decision is analyzed, every game is dissected, and every failure is magnified. For Jerry Jones, the pursuit of another championship is deeply personal. For a Dak Prescott, and the stakes are equally highly, as his legacy as a quarterback will ultimately be defined by a postseason success. For the coaching staff, the expectations is simple but demanding. Deliver result in this context. The NFL draft become more than just a process of selecting a player. It become a defining moment, a chance to reshape the roster and address a critical weaknesses and build a team capable of competing at the highest level. The Cowboys are not looking for developmental prospects who may take years to reach their potential. They are just looking for a players who can contribute immediately, who can handle the intensity of the NFL, and who can help the team win now. As the draft unfolds, each selection carries a significant weight. A successful pick can strengthen a key area of the roster, while missed opportunities can leave gaps that opponents will exploit. The margin for error is small, and the importance of each decision is magnified by the team's current position as contender. The Cowboys are close and closer enough to believe that the right addition could make all the difference. Ultimately, the story of the Dallas Cowboys at this moment is one of determination and transformation. They are a team with a proud history, talented roster, and clear objective. The challenge lies on turning a potential into performance, in translating a draft day decisions into on-the-field success, and in providing that they can rise above the expectations that have defined them for so long time. So if those NFL draft in the Dallas Cowboys succeed, this draft could be remembered as the moment when everything came together, the moment when the Cowboys finally bridged the gaps between promise and achievement. Meanwhile, a Russell Wilson offers leadership and deep ball efficiency trait that can instantly elevate an offense. On the other hand, a younger quarterback such as Justin Field introduce a different dimensions with their mobility, allowing offenses to incorporate run pass option and extend plays beyond the designed structure. Even for teams with established starters, securing a depth at quarterbacks remains a priority, as injuries at the position can derail an entire season. The running back market reflects the evolving philosophy of modern football. While some franchises hesitate to invest heavily in the position due to its physical demand and shorter career spans, elite players like Saquon Barkley continue to demonstrate their value as complete offensive weapons. His ability to contribute as both runner and receiver makes him a true three-down back capable of impacting every phase of the game. So similarly, Derrick Henry remains one of the most physically dominant players in the league, capable of wearing down defenses and controlling a tempo of the game. In an era dominated by passing offenses, these players remind teams of the importance of balance and physicality. At wide receiver, the demand for elite talent has reached an level. Offenses across the league really heavy on dynamic playmakers who can create separation win contested encroaches and generate yards after the catch. Players like T. Higgins provide a size and reliability, making them ideal target in a critical situation. So a Mike Evans continues to excel as a lead zone threat using his physicality and catch radius to dominate defensive backs. Meanwhile, Calvin Ridley brings a precious route running and explosiveness qualities that are essential in creating mismatches against opposing defenses. For teams like the Cowboys, adding or maintaining a strong receiving corps is essential to maximizing offensive efficiency and supporting their quarterback. Defensively, a free agency focuses on players who can disrupt opposing offenses and create a game-changing moment. Interior defensive linemen like Chris Jones are among the most valuable assets in the league, as their ability to collapse the pocket from the inside forces quarterback into uncomfortable situations. Edge rushers such as Daniel Hunter provide consistent pressure of the edge, critically component of any successful defense. Linebacker like Patrick Quinn offer versatility, excelling in both run defense and pass coverage. So in the trenches, offensive linemen such as Tyron Smith remain invaluable, protecting the quarterback and establishing the foundation for successful offense. While our free agencies provide immediate solution, the NFL draft represents the future. It is a process defined by evaluating projections and calculated risk. Teams spend monthly analyzing prospect, studying game film, conducting interviews, and evaluating physical attributes during the scouting combine and pro days. The goal is to identify players who not only possesses innate talent but also fit the team's culture and system. At the quarterback, prospect like Caleb Williams are viewed as a franchise-changing talent. His combination of the arm strength, creativity, and poise under pressure make him one of the most highly anticipated prospects in recent years. Alongside him, Drake May offer prototypical size and accuracy, while Jadon Daniel brings a dynamic athleticism and playmaking ability. So each of these quarterbacks represent different stories of the players, giving a team's option depending on their offensive philosophy. The wide receiver class is equally impressive, headlined by Marvin Harrison Jr., whose set has drawn comparison to some of the greatest receivers in the NFL history. His route running, hands, and football intelligence make him an immediate impact player. He is complemented by talent like Malik Nurbur's and Lom Adons. Both of whom bring explosive and the ability to change the outcomes of the game with a single play. So in the trenches, offensive linemen such as Joe Hart and Olu Fanshanu represent the next generation of elite protectors. Their techniques, strength, and athleticism make them ideal candidates to become a cornerstone players on the offensive line. On the defensive side, players like Jared Verse and Dallas Turner bring explosiveness and versatility, while a cornerback such as Akur Eddie Maxey have a potential to develop into a shutdown defenders capable of neutralizing an elite receiver. So for the Dallas Cowboys, the challenge lies is combining these two pathways, free agencies and NFL draft, into a cohesive strategy